focus, determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment, and by Proforma, Elite Texas Graphics, live Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Are you a fan of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series? Now is your chance to show off your favorite sim racing series by visiting our online store. With clothing and apparel for women and men in all sizes, merchandise and gift items like coffee mugs, laptop skins, mouse pads, and many more items to display your passion for sports car sim racing. Visit us today at ExtremeMotorsports99.com and click on the online store button. Thank you for watching and supporting the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Are you a fan of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series? Now is your chance to show off your favorite sim racing series by visiting our online store. With clothing and apparel for women and men in all sizes, merchandise and gift items like coffee mugs, laptop skins, mouse pads, and many more items to display your passion for sports car sim racing. Visit us today at ExtremeMotorsports99.com and click on the online.
still have the audio going. I turned that off. I don't know why my music was going there. Sorry about that one, but yeah, back to what we were saying. Season 14 of the Ricmotech series. It's starting out at one of probably the most legendary racetracks in America. Definitely one of the hardest tracks, and it's going to provide some great racing, I believe. So, just a few more seconds here. I believe they are gridding up now for the race. I believe we are going to have an entire outlap to do here for the Ricmotech Sports Car Series here in Watkins, Glen. So I'm going to let you go ahead now and pull up the grid, assuming that everyone can hear me. If you're still there, Tyler.
I can hear you. And hopefully they're able to hear me as well. As we're gonna make sure. Hopefully you guys are able to hear me as well, as we're gonna go through the grid. I'm gonna go ahead and, like our normal, I'll go ahead and go through the GS class for us here. Our defending champ, as always, Aeronam, just, I mean, absolutely is running away with the field again. And he's taking the lead pole here for race number 1 with a 2-minute and 2.2 second lap time, 6/10 of a second quicker than Mike Dam. And that'll be rounding out your row 1 for the start of this, for the season debut. Then row number 2 is going to be Tyler Shiflett, and a newcomer to the league, number 92, Joe Jr., going to be starting in 4th in row number 2. Further back is going to be Robert Hartley, Jeff Jacobs in row number 3. Row number 4 is going to be Kevin Ford and Jennifer McDonald, who's been running really well. From what I've heard, she's been getting some more practice time in and has really improved. Then we have Brandon Whitworth and Leon Wright rounding out your top 10 for the qualifying. Then filling out your back half of the field for the GS class is Jake Johansson, Steve Daniels, Chad Parker, who is another new driver to the GS field, Raymond Bader, Matthew Kalita, Robert Gregory, another newcomer to the field, Robert Briss, Will Marshall, David Clark, and Michael Hilliard. I hope I said that right. I believe it's Hilliard, and that rounds out your 20 car field for the GS class.
Yes, and we now jump into the ST class here. Jim Liss is going to start on the pole alongside Eric Violet. Travis Swinky and Bobby Childs is row number 2. Jordy Fike in 5th. And John D. Allen is 6th. Clifford Even and Elvis Rankin, that is your top 7. Trying to move down there. And David Payton and Chris Thorman, I believe that is 10. Jacob Beasley and Derek Holland, Greg Mack and Lytle McMurphy, Mike Taylor and Michael Wortman, and Edgar Sancinelli and Michael Key, and then your race director, as always, rounding out the field. So yeah, as we work our way now down the back straightaway here at this beautiful Watkins Glen racetrack, we see a lot of elevation change here at Watkins Glen, and there's a lot of places to pass. I believe, especially now that we have such a big field in the GS class, I believe that we're going to see a lot of battling all the way through that class, especially. I think that class is going to be one of the better classes now this year. That is such a big class. There's going to be so much more battling that can be done all the way through. The ST class, as usual, one of the most competitive classes on the entire field. So should be good racing like usual, but it's always interesting to see what these drivers throw up at us.
Yeah, and to add on to that too, it's just, especially with the GS class, and it's going to be interesting to see if Aeronam's going to be able to have a chance at trying to sweep. He was actually not able to sweep last season after Robert Hartley was able to beat him at Laguna Seca. But the previous season, Aeronam just absolutely perfect, winning the championship again. So I believe this is like his third straight championship victory, maybe even more. It's going to be really interesting to see who out of some of these newer drivers, especially with Joe Jr. being up there, will be interesting to see what he can be able to do. And then on the ST class, seeing how Travis Schwenke was able to have a decent fight out with a few other drivers as well, and seeing Jim Liss up there and might have a few others. Bobby Childs having a good qualifying. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this first race of the season starts. See who all still has the jitters and who's all going to be able to pull out and having a decent race with us.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see. As you know, a lot of these drivers, they're trying to keep it clean in the first few races, or at least for the first race, they're trying just to keep it clean, get some nice consecutive points. One of those drivers I just don't think is going to have that issue is going to be Aero Nam. He's going to start on the inside of Mike Dam from the front row. He'll have clear track ahead of him as the pace car. Just about to duck down into pit lane now. So as we go down the start-finish line now, down the front straightaway we go, and I believe that's going to be green flag. He's going to fly on season 14.
Flag flying in the air as here they go, coming into turn one now. Fairly clean, everyone giving him room. Mike Dam goes a little bit wide there as well as Aero. Still fairly clean going through the first few turns as Aero Nam's already taken the lead. But here comes Tyler Shiflett having an opportunity now. Gets ahead of Robert Hartley heading up through the S's.
So we now look down here at your ST field. Sorry, the overlay is kind of going a little bit crazy there, but green flag is in the air for your ST field. Season 14 is underway. And now as they head down into turn number one, I believe everyone's going to keep it clean. I believe so. Yes, everyone is going to get through cleanly. So now as they work their way up the hill, is everyone going to give each other space? I believe that they will. They're still all pretty much 2 by 2 all the way through. But I believe they will all come through cleanly as they head down the back straightaway now. Focus back now on your ST field with your leader, Aero Nam. So Aero Nam still in the lead from Mike Dam, Tyler Shiflett, Rob Hartley, Kevin Ford. That's your top 5.
So keeping an eye on this. Right now, everyone's more in single file, coming near to the bus stops, or actually no, the carousels. My apologies. As they're actually few have already made it through. I'm a little bit behind on myself, so everyone's still going single file. It's actually becoming a nice little train now, all the way to the 20th of David Clark. It seems like some fairly decent battling. The only person that's really had some issues right now is Joe Jr. losing 3 spots right now from a starting position in 4th. So that'll be interesting to see how he fares as the race goes on. As Aero Nam is going to complete your first lap, lead your first lap of the season for season 14 of Ricmotech Sports Car Series for the GS class.
Focus back on your ST leader, Eric Violet. So he has made up a spot off the start. He is gotten by Jim List. So as we head now through the final sector for these guys, they're all just going to kind of swap. Kind of everyone, though, has gotten back into a line, which usually is kind of what we see here, especially at Watkins Glen. Definitely a track that, yes, you can pass, but it's kind of get it done. And don't really go 2 by 2, as it is a very wide track, but still you lose quite a bit of time by doing so. But these guys all working their way through the final corner now, and Eric Violet, I believe, will be the one who will lead lap 1 here in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series for season 14, as we'll focus back now on your ST field, or your GS field, sorry. Back here with, we'll go back here to Leon Wright in that 1-mile-1 racing car. So that train.
Yeah, and as Leon Wright's, as they're going into the inside section of the boot, seems fairly calm right now. Everyone's keeping clean. Only about a 7/10 of a second gap for Leon Wright with having Steve Daniels behind him. It seems like he's running a little slow, but everyone's starting to space out, trying to find opportunities. And it looks like the 86 there had some issues, or I believe that's actually the 92. He had a little bit of issues there, and was not able to keep away. As whoa, there goes Kevin Ford going on the grass a little bit. Had that car get a little tail happy on him. Good save though, able to keep it clean and hang on to that 5th place. But it looks like the top 4 is already starting to pull away.
Yeah, the top 4 already starting to stretch away here from the rest of your field, but everyone pretty much keeping it pretty much in a single file line. We're not really seeing much battling at this point in the race, as we usually are not used to. Usually everybody kind of likes to settle in and get their feet found in the race before they really start going to battle, and we definitely are seeing that here today. We're not really having too many people being too spaced out, but there is your battle for your lead. Mike Dam looking all over the place to go by Aero Nam as they head up the hill now. 0.2 of a second. He's got nothing to lose at this point. He's got about a second now back to Tyler Shiflett and Rob Hartley. So if he is going to try and move, this is going to be the time. He thinks better of it, though. He is going to stay behind him, possibly trying to go ahead and save some fuel, get some strategy in, as we're quite used to seeing in this league, a very strategy-filled league and a very strategy-filled race. We've seen people's races get turned upside down by not having the correct strategy. So I believe that we're going to see a strategy-filled race just like usual in this series. As they work their way down the hill now, we'll head up into one of the more technical spots on the track. This is definitely one of the most challenging corners. It's a very uphill, banked corner, so easy to lose the rear end here, especially on the exit as you're trying to push the limits as much as possible. But we'll go back and we'll look here at your battle for the lead, as they are going to be all over the back of each other here, heading into the bus stop.
Oh, 2x2 there, Travis Swanky. Bobby Childs making a move, getting around Travis Swanky. Whoa, look out, look out. Good catch there by 65 of Jim List. Boy, that could have been disaster. Oh, he's still going wide.
Yeah, Jim List way out on the grass. He's going to drop back now into third, so that's going to promote Bobby Childs up into second. So Childs up to second. And now you can see Jim List here is trying to keep hold of Travis Swanky, as Travis Swanky's now all over the grass. So you see Jim List, has some serious issues right now.
Yeah, he's just really struggling. I think he had an issue, must be having an issue with that setup, because here goes Travis Swanky on the inside, trying to get a run and keeping an eye out, as well as Jordy Fikes trying to find a way to get around Jim List as well. And it's right now Jim List taking advantage of Bobby Childs holding in the draft, trying to keep him enough momentum, and barely going to be able to get the momentum to stay ahead of Travis Swanky.
Yeah, just barely now. As you can see, they're all starting to fan out a little bit further back here, as everyone just kind of finding their feet, but we're starting to see some racing going on throughout your field. But pretty much the ST field here, at least, is trying to stay in a line. But yeah, big moments there for Jim List, but that is going to promote Bobby Childs up into second place.
And right now already the gap is already pulling away. Eric Violet's got a point, have a 0.7 of a second gap over Bobby Childs, and it looks like Steve Daniels has some issues, I think, as I'm seeing his number drop down the timings real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to try to look here for that incident. I don't believe he's having any issues. I believe we're just having a lot of live timing issues in general tonight.
Yeah, it just might be an issue with my live timing, so I do apologize. It's just, I gotta upgrade my computer sooner or later.
No, I'm having the same issues. I don't really know exactly what's going on with the live timing right now. Please bear with us. We are just trying to get everything sorted out here. We're having a few issues tonight, uncalculated issues. Yeah, I was seeing the same thing as you, was just dropping down my live timing screen. But as we do look back here at the battle for the lead, is now just 0.3 of a second here in the GS class. So this is not usually something that we see in the GS class. We're usually used to seeing one driver or possibly two break away, but usually it's just been kind of aerodynamic, just kind of out on his own for a little bit in the first few laps. Then they start reeling him in, but now you can see Mike Dam is really starting to hang on the back of Aero Nam this time. Maybe trying to fuel save just a little bit so that he can go a little bit longer on the strategy. Aero Nam knows all about leading and getting the right strategy while he's leading. I think it wouldn't be a half bad idea for him to drop back down into second, maybe try to get a little bit more fuel saving, as I kind of think that's what he's trying to do here.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the last lap times, it's been very close between Aero Nam and Mike Dam. Hartley did get around Tyler Shiflett again, so Hartley's up to third. moved up 2 places since the start, as well as Kevin Ford. But looking at the times right now, it's just only the top 3 in the 202s, and then Tyler Shiflett having a little bit of issues. But going to be very interesting as the gap between the top 3 is just about a second right now, second and a half. But then when you look towards further back down the field, it gets pretty close on a few other spots. But it's going to be very interesting, especially with already 15, almost 10 minutes into the race, and a lot of action's already happened.
Yeah, definitely a lot of action indeed. As we're going to go back here and focus back here on your ST battle, as I believe that's going to be Bobby Childs up into the lead. So Bobby Childs will go to the lead. Eric Violet back down now to second. So we're seeing a lot of action here in the front of your ST field.
Absolutely, and here goes Violet coming up on the inside, just going to make a huge power move. And looks like here goes Bobby Childs, might be losing 4 or 5 spots maybe, as here goes Eric Violet on the outside, coming into the S's 2x2 alongside with Travis Schwanke. And he's going to give Jim List the opportunity there, and whew, just look at that shot. That's seeing everyone go 2x2 in single file going through the bus stop. Perfect moves by all of these drivers and keeping it together, as well as I believe we have about, looking at the gap, we have about a 10-car train here, all fighting with the leaders. So going to be very interesting in the ST class.
Yes, we have a little bit of a live timing issue there, but everything's going to resolve out for us, I believe, here. But so yeah, Bobby Childs, though, goes up into the lead, and then simultaneously, in just the span of one corner, drops back all the way back down to 4th. So that just shows you how close this ST field really is, and you can see it on the left-hand side of your screen there on the live timing gantry. You can see the top 9 all separated by 0.4 of a second. Just all those drivers less than 0.4 of a second ahead of their rivals ahead of them. So this is definitely something that's very, very interesting, as all these drivers are staying really, really close here.
Exactly, and just looking at the timing, if these guys can keep it this way, boy, this is going to be very interesting. As just to also give a heads up, the for the ST class, the championship from last season was John Allen, and right now he's all the way down near the back end of this field, of this long field. Here comes, actually, speaking of which, here comes that was, I think I just saw, speaking of his name, John Allen coming into the pits.
Yeah, I believe you are right there. Yeah, John Allen into the pit lane, so don't really know what that was for. I believe it's just going to be for a routine stop, but as we will focus back here on your ST field, or your GS field, sorry, we're having a bit of issues now with the live timing software again, so we do apologize for that one. We are going to try to get this resolved here, but as we work our way through the final sector here, these drivers now all very, very close here, and at least in the front of your ST field or GS field. Then it kind of drops off by just about 1 second back to Rob Hartley. So you can see the absolute league of their own that these two drivers are in. Aaron Nam and Mike Dam just absolutely gone from the rest of the field, and I don't really think, to be honest with you, unless one of these two has a problem, neither are going to be able to be challenged tonight.
Yeah, and it's already looking and appearing to be the top 3 as usual, with Arrow Nam, Mike Damon, Hartley. Robert Hartley's trying to hang in there right now, but I think he's just struggling a little bit with trying to get the momentum of the car and trying to get the setup to work. So it might be a good strategy call for Hartley later on, though. If he can be able to hang out like an extra lap or so, try to see if he can get the overcut. But it'll be very interesting, as Tyler Shiflett's not that far behind either. So going to be very interesting to see how pit strategies play into a factor here for tonight for the GS field.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one as far as strategies go. We always see some very, very interesting strategies from this field in general. We usually don't see anything too ordinary, you could say. It's always something that's a little bit of an edgy strategy, but they always seem to pull it off good. As we look back now at this battle in your ST field, and I'm just looking down my thing, it's pretty much all yellow and red all the way down my live timing screen in this ST, or in this GS, or this ST field, sorry. Absolutely losing my mind with these classes right now. But yeah, like you can see there, just about a 9-car battle there for the front, pretty much the lead in the ST field, or the ST field, sorry. So yeah, pretty much everyone just staying in a line though, and this is really, really close.
Yeah, and you can even see too, there is a second pack forming as the front 9 cars are pulling a 1.6-second gap right now over Jacob Beasley, I believe that is in the 154. He's the last car behind. That's the first car that's behind this pack, and you can already see the gap there. As here we go again. Schwenke was looking on the inside, heading to the bus stop, but he's gonna think wise of it, and these guys are just playing a patient game now. But it's gonna be very interesting, especially seeing John Allen coming in for a pits early. So gonna be interesting to see where he comes out. I don't know if it's gonna be the right call, but anything can happen here.
Yeah, anything can happen. This is Watkins Glen. It's one of the most legendary racetracks in the world for a reason. Pretty much anything can happen at this racetrack. There's nothing that's set in stone here. Absolutely nothing whatsoever, as my live timing decides to crash. So we'll try to get that back up here just super fast here. So just bear with me here for just a second as I try to get that running. But I believe while I try to get that running, I believe we're going to go over to our a advertisement here from our sponsors. We'll be back in just a moment.
Are you a fan of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series? Now is your chance to show off your favorite sim racing series by visiting our online store. With clothing and apparel for women and men in all sizes, merchandise and gift items like coffee mugs, laptop skins, mouse pads, and many more items to display your passion for sports car sim racing. Visit us today at ExtremeMotorsports99.com and click on the online store button. Thank you for watching and supporting the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Are you a fan of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series? Now is your chance to show off your favorite sim racing series by visiting our online store. With clothing and apparel for women and men in all sizes, merchandise and gift items like coffee mugs, laptop skins, mouse pads, and many more items to display your passion for sports car sim racing. Visit us today at ExtremeMotorsports99.com and click on the online store button. Thank you for watching and supporting the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Are you a fan of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series? Now is your chance to show off your favorite sim racing series by visiting our online store. With clothing and apparel for women and men in all sizes, merchandise and gift items like coffee mugs, laptop skins, mouse pads, and many more items to display your passion for sports car sim racing. Visit us today at ExtremeMotorsports99.com and click on the online store button. Thank you for watching and supporting the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Are you a fan of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series? Now is your chance to show off your favorite sim racing series by visiting our online store. With clothing and apparel for women and men in all sizes, merchandise and gift items like coffee mugs, laptop skins, mouse pads, and many more items to display your passion for sports car sim racing. Visit us today at ExtremeMotorsports99.com and click on the online store button. Thank you for watching and supporting the Ricmotech Sports Car Series.
Welcome back. Sorry about the issues again with the live streaming. I think we got it fixed, but we're not 100% sure on it. So we're still slowly but surely working on it. Just to keep you updated on the race at hand, we had a little bit of an incident that happened in the ST field, about 5th place, and I believe it was the Jordy Fike having some issues there. Got tangled up with a few other cars and got caught up in an accident. And Elvis Rankin was another innocent victim, and he ended up having to tow right now currently from the race. But so far, though, everyone else is running fairly decent. But now we have a 4-car field now fighting for ST class of Eric Violet, Jim List, Travis Schwenke, and Bobby Childs right now, all within about a second of each other.
Yeah, so everyone kind of keeping it very, very close, keeping everybody very, very modest indeed. So I'm going to try to get everything back up and running here. Sorry, I'm trying to do this as fast as I possibly can. There we go, we're focusing back here on your leader. Sorry about that once again, just so many technical difficulties. So one thing I will ask anybody watching the live stream is I believe I have figured out what is going wrong with my live timing. Anytime somebody joins up to look at the live timing server, it is crashing. So I do ask that if you could avoid doing that, at least just for this stream until I 100% figure out what the problem is, that would be absolutely awesome. But yeah, back to the racing here at hand. As we just are focusing back here on your race leader, Eric Violet. So he's starting to extend his lead over Travis Schwenke at this point, but it's not by much. He's still keeping it at a, very, very close gap. Here is also focus back up here on your leader, Aeronom of Mike Dino. just 0.8 of a second separates, excuse me again, Aeronom to Rob Hartley. So those three just pretty much align here as they're just about to start catching the rear of the ST field.
Yeah, and right now looking at it, believe that is the 63 of Glen Murphy. There was a few other MX5 cars that got involved, and Robert Hartley comes into the pits. 25 minutes into the race, Hartley comes into the pits. He's the only one that decided to pit, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this strategy plays out.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one. You can see Hartley into the pit lane now, but I wonder if I think that this race is definitely going to be a two-stop for these drivers, so definitely a race that you can get some sort of really interesting strategy, whereas in the 60-minute races, we're kind of used to seeing one set strategy done. We're not really used to seeing any sort of crazy strategies going on in the 60-minute races, but indeed there is still strategies. But as we look back here, as those ST cars now, or the GS cars, just about to overlap the ST cars.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out a way to get around these guys. These MX5 cars are battling very hard. As here goes Aeronom diving on the inside of one. Oh, gonna have to squeeze it there. Catching up now, the 61 of Mike Taylor, going to try to get around him safely as possible. Meanwhile, 63 Lionel McMurphy's got to figure out what he's got to do now, and Mike Dam's just going to do everything he can to try to hang on to Aeronom, because this is going to be the make or break now if Aeronom can pull away and get ahead of these slower class cars. Because usually with Aeronom, if he can be able to pull a gap on the on his fellow competitors by the slower class cars, he will be gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah, definitely something that we're quite used to seeing Aeronom doing, with just absolutely just able to get away if he can get past the slower lap traffic quicker than his opponents. But we do know that, you know, Mike Dam is definitely one of the most experienced drivers in this field. He was pretty much, I believe, the only one to be able to take to the fight of Aeronom for that one race last season. But other than that, though, Aeronom is such a good driver in this field, and it's going to obviously be very, very hard to beat him. But if there's anyone who can do it, it's Mike Dam, because you can see 3.7 seconds now back to Tyler Shiflett. That is the amount of gap, that these guys have over the rest of the field.
Absolutely, and we'll have to keep an eye too on Robert Hartley, because Hartley, with his pit stop, he's still going to be. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. But hopefully, we'll see how or when Aeronom decides to pit. As we've got it now, they're catching up to the leaders of the MX5 class, and boy, look at that little fight with Bobby Childs, Jim Lentz, Eric Violet, Travis Schwenke, all fighting for positions there as Aeronom is catching up to him.
Yeah, as we ride on board now with Bobby Childs as we head down the hill here in Watkins Glen. Now, this is going to be definitely one of the more challenging ones for these for the GS cars, because these guys are battling for the win as well. As much as they're battling for the win, these guys are battling for the lead as well. So these guys are all going to not really want to give the ST guys they don't want to lose too much time by letting the ST traffic through, but at the same time they don't want to block the ST traffic in any way. So this is a very big, almost a balancing act for each one of these drivers to try and stay close, but also not have any contact with the ST cars.
Yeah, and as you saw there, Aeronom just cut right in front of Jim List, and Jim List had to get on the brakes a lot earlier than he was expecting, and that could have been really disastrous, but it helped. It paid off, though, for Aeronom, and look at the gap already. He's clear sailing, and you see Mike Dam still trying to get around Jim List and Travis Schwenke now, just barely getting around Eric Violet, and get ready to see this gap just grow.
Yeah, and Travis Schwenke now drives to the pit lane.
Schwenke comes into the pits, so... Well, now we're going to see here where he comes out, because remember, John Allen pitted back when they were only 10 minutes into the race. So strategy here is going to be interesting to see, as Allen's right now not that far away and coming out, smoking the tires there as he's coming around, trying to fight around Michael Wortman now. And don't see Schwenke's still sitting in the pit, so interesting strategy. But it looks like John Allen now, out of the MX5 cars that have pitted, is your provisional leader currently.
Yeah, I believe that just because he's been in some very, very smooth sailing, he's been pretty much out in no man's land. I mean, he has been out with just clean air for laps and laps on laps. Now, while it is going to be a very hard one for him to get the strategy right, I believe he's just basically flipped the strategy for the MX-5s, because the MX-5s could go nearly the entire race on on some fuel, but then they were going to have to come in for a splash and dash 10 minutes to go in the race. I believe that John Allen has just flipped the strategy. So while those guys were up front losing time and battling, John Allen has just made up that time by being able to push as hard as he possibly could.
Absolutely, and I think it probably will pay off for him as well. I mean, he's already put up a good gap on Travis Swanky, and as Aeronam is just starting to pull away a little bit from Mike Dam, about 1.2 second the gap right now between Aeronam and Mike Dam in the GS.
And that gap is just going to continue to grow as you watch that up in the top right-hand corner. Unless Aeronam makes a mistake, he is absolutely insane. Whenever he gets out on his own, and nobody is there to battle with him and really challenge him, he is able just to stay clear ahead of the rest of the field with no issues whatsoever. So yeah, Aeronam is just one of the best there is in the series. Now you can just see, though, the amount of pace that they have over the rest of that the GS field. They are now up to 5.5 seconds. They were just 3 seconds just 3 laps ago. So that's just how close or how much faster they are than the rest of the field. As you can see, several drivers from the
And it looks like Jim List, Eric Violet, Bobby Childs, Lyndon McMurphy had a black flag penalty, so Lyndon McMurray is serving that. But it's going to be interesting here to see where John Allen comes out, and it looks like John Allen's come right around them. So there we go again, John Allen. Strategy might be paying off for him in the long run.
Yeah, John Allen, though, is going to have the most worn-out tires coming into the race. Now, that could play a factor in if he does end up having some sort of an issue towards the end of the race, and he's not able to get out and really make that fuel work. If he's a little bit too light-footed, you could say, that strategy work, that could also backfire on him quite hard if he does have to make a second pit stop, because you could lose so much time here, especially for how big the pit lane is here at Watkins Glen. So John Allen has really got to be nice to the tires and nice on the fuel if he wants to make it that long, because he's pretty much pushing an hour and 20 minutes at that point on his fuel and tires. So that's going to be definitely a difficult one for him. But so far, that strategy has pulled off and worked out for him. Amazing.
And looking at, keeping an eye on Bobby Childs, hanging on to the rest of the guys that are pitted in front of him. But he's doing a great job, though, just keeping that momentum. And you can see further back, Mike Taylor, for a much slower car right now, unfortunately, just still trying to get used to the car and working his way back up. But these 4 cars are going to be having a really pushing now to try to catch up to John Allen throughout this race.
As you look here at your, I believe this is going to be here for the ST Open. So this is your top 12 here in the ST Open, and I do believe that the drivers that do say that they are out is correct. So apparently we have, I believe, Baylor still, if you can confirm that. But yes, right now though, that was your ST Open categories. We'll now head up here to Travis Swinky, who has got a pretty good pit. He is still out ahead of Jim List, so Swinky still retains his track position that he came into the pit lane with, but he's got such a big gap here. John Allen has got such a long way to go.
And here we go. 33 minutes elapsed currently in this race, so still an hour to go, and it's anybody's race. But right now, John Allen's your provisional ST leader, as Derek Holland, David Payton, Jacob Beasley still need to pit, and there's a few other cars further back behind Allen that still needs to pit. And then you have these 4 drivers here: Travis Swanky, Jim List, Eric Violet, and Bobby Childs fighting it out right now, trying to figure out a way to see how they can catch up to John Allen, whether it's pit strategy or just pure speed.
just got such great pace here this race. It's definitely going to be a difficult one for them to do. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust my settings there. But, so yeah, you can just see there, if I pull up the time delta in the bottom right-hand corner, it was 13 seconds the gap last lap. And to be honest with you, it is maintaining between Allen and Swanky. So could John Allen have pulled off one of the best strategies we've seen here on Ricmotech Sports Car Series?
Absolutely, and Schwenke's just one of those quick drivers, but he's very consistent alongside with Jim Liz, since Jim Liz has been improving as the months and seasons have gone by. So to see them keeping at it and fighting it, they're doing really well. But task at hand now, as you can see John Allen just cruising around all by himself, it seems like, and it'll be interesting to see whether cruising around by himself is quicker, or if it's of that big 4-car pack that's not that far behind him as well.
Definitely make sure to keep an eye on that one. His last lap, though, it was Travis Swanky who put in the fastest lap of the race, so it's definitely going to be an interesting one to see whether that 4-car battle is faster than John Allen running out here on his own. So we will have to keep an eye on that, and we'll keep that time delta ready and prepared there. But now we'll look here at your provision of what is, I believe, your race leader. So Mike Dam comes out ahead here of Aeronom. So Aeronom, with some sort of mishap in the pit lane, or a little bit longer time in the pit lane, he is now back to P3.
And looking at this, looking at the pit times, it seems like Aeronom had a shorter pit time, but it just seems like Mike Dam was able to take advantage of it. Don't know what exactly happened there on the pit stop, but boy, that make a difference, though.
Yeah, that definitely will throw some strategy up into this race here. As you can, I mean, that is incredible. Now, Aeronom losing the spot to Mike Dam. So this is a little bit early for a GS pit, in my opinion, because they're only about 30 minutes into the race, so they are going to have to, I believe, make one more pit stop in this race if they want any sort of chance at. Ooh, and that's Aeronom out on the grass.
No, that was Mike Dam, actually, up into the right side wall, making a mistake and just slapping the right side armor barrier, but it seems like everything's still in one piece. But boy, that was a scary moment.
Try now to get a replay of that one. Sorry, it's the first time I've used this project file, so I am having a little bit of an issue with it. So here we go now. On board with Mike Dam, so we'll just try and see what happens there. Nope, I believe that we are back onto the so we'll jump back up to this battle here. But yeah, Mike Dam now running wide, and that's just allowed Aeronom just to go straight down his inside and make up that lead.
Yeah, that was a key mistake there by Mike Dam, and anything can happen now, and boy, but that'll be interesting to see if that mistake cost Mike Dam the opportunity to fight with Aeronom for this one.
Definitely. I believe that Rob Hartley, though, has come out of the pits with the best of them so far. I believe Rob Hartley has already come in for his pit stop. I will go ahead and confirm that for you. Yes, so Rob Hartley now leads the GS field by 3.3 seconds. So he has come out with some sort of amazing strategy to lead by such a margin.
Yeah, and with how the fuel runs here, it's going to be interesting to see how that fuel will last, because right now 38 minutes have elapsed, and we still got a little less than about 50 minutes to go, and I don't know, this is going to come down to the end, I think, before it's going to come down to the wire or even the last pit stop before we really find out a true cut winner for either both classes, both the ST and the GS class.
Yeah, definitely going to be kind of a thing where we're not really going to know until maybe the last 5 minutes of the race, you know, to where we can really educated guess call who's going to win the race and who's going to finish in what positions, because this is still all open in the air. I mean, Rob Hartley could have taken no tires and just taken fuel to get that lead. As you know, he was 5 seconds back, so he must have had something that was at least 8 seconds better than the next press driver. So that is just something he's got figured out there. Obviously was working out quite well for him. As we are going to go back and look at your provisional race leader, who is actually the race leader in the ST class. So he is now, so John Allen now is, I believe, 9 seconds ahead. Or actually, no, 14 seconds. So that gap has actually grown just about 8/10 of a second that last lap. So John Allen obviously not losing any pace by being out front.
That's just unbelievable. And then, also seeing too, now that we're getting back over to see what's going on with these 4 cars, and they got all of the GS class going through them right now, trying to lap them. So this is going to get really interesting, and it might split up these 4 cars as well. But man, it'll be interesting to see how Eric Violet and Bobby Childs can hang on to these other 2 cars with Schwenke and Jim List.
Definitely going to be an interesting one indeed. As Rob Hartley running a little bit off the pace compared to the other guys, but he is still nonetheless the leader in the ST field, and this is one of those tracks where it is such a difficult track to pass at that pretty much track position here is worth absolutely everything. If you've got track position, you can almost hold up an entire field of cars with no issues whatsoever, so that's something that, you know, maybe these drivers need to start thinking about. You know, if Aeronam and Mike Dam can somehow catch up to Rob Hartley, do they come in for a little bit earlier pit stop, as we're now 40 minutes left in this race, so we're just about halfway through. Do they come in and get their stuff done a little bit earlier so that they can get out ahead of Rob Hartley and just get some clean air to themselves? Because you can also obviously see Mike Dam and Aeronam working quite well together, just kind of staying in line. They are both very experienced drivers. Just understand that when you're in this position, you can't afford to battle.
I would almost want to say they might want to just work together a little bit. At the same time, they're finding ways to be able to get around the ST traffic. But it's going to be interesting because, I mean, you can see that gap does drop a bit. I mean, looking at the lap times, Aeronam ran a 202.8. Meanwhile, Mike Dam ran a 203.1, and then Robert Hartley ran a 203 flat. So it's still about a 0.2 of a second difference, but even still, that's with having to fight around the other lap traffic and slower class car traffic. So that lap time can be even skewed in a lot of different ways.
Definitely can be a very easy thing to be skewed here. It's definitely not a hard one to mess up, especially here at Watkins. With one of these tracks, it's just one of the hardest tracks in the nation, I think, to drive at. One of the best starts that we could have had in the season. As it is a track that, you know, doesn't always promote side-by-side battling for much time, but definitely proves a track that you can absolutely throw in a lot of particular places and still make it work. As we will look back here at your race leader, Rob Hartley, he is losing just 0.2 of a second now per lap to the guys behind him. And then we'll focus back now, if I can get him here, John Allen, as he is just in a league of his own, and we'll pull that time delta back up here just to check on it one more time. He's gaining just about 0.4 a lap. 0.4 on the last lap. All by himself. Travis Schwenke is in the battle right now, and even he's still running by himself, but John Allen has just got the superior pace over himself.
That's unbelievable, and he's actually kind of getting a decent little tow every now and then too when these GS class cars are going by him. So especially if he times it right, he can really woo as he taking the bus stop aggressively there. My goodness. But at the same time, if he can play smart and when he time these GS cars where he can take the most opportunities out of it with taking the getting a little extra speed down the straights, that's a big difference maker there.
Definitely an area that he can gain a lot of time. These cars are very much faster than he is, but if he can grab a little bit of a slipstream off, these cars punch a big hole into the air, you could say. These MX-5s are such little cars that they can get an absolute insane suck-up on those big cars, and that can just able A, to save him fuel, and B, to actually gain him some track position or some speed as he goes down these straightaways. So that's helping him not to lose as much time. As you can see, pretty much just sticking right on the back now of the number 38 GS car. I believe that is of Jeff Jacobs. So yeah, he's just staying just right up on the back of him, just trying to get a little bit of slipstream and help him pull through some of these tighter sections where it's harder for him to get some acceleration.
Absolutely, and especially that acceleration makes a whole big difference there. So seeing how this plays out, I think he can make a big opportunity as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And I mean, I think this might be his race to lose, honestly. I mean, especially when he's still pulling a gap on Travis Schwenke and a few other drivers.
Yes, just now trying to pull this back up there. Now we'll click on TV1. Don't know what's going on there with the team. It's something was stuck on the scenic camera, but yeah, as we now focus here on second place in your ST field again. I believe Eric Viola and Jim List are actually decently close now as we round that second corner there. Everything's just a little bit slow to update here. So as they up the hill now, it's just about 0.4 of a second to separate those two. So very, very close for the third place in that class. As there's also pretty close between Tyler Shiflett, or Mike Dam and Aaron Nonso, so still 0.3 of a second separating them. So those two still very, very close all the way through now. I think that we're pretty much just going to see them sticking to each other's rear bumper all the way to the end.
Yeah, and then but the gap is dropping though. The gap from Robert Hartley to Aeronom, it's down to 2.7 seconds the gap. So it's still going to be very interesting to see what exactly happens here. Man, and we might still end up having a 3-car battle here in the GS class coming to the end.
Yeah, definitely. Possibly a 3-car battle if Rob Hartley indeed can still keep out ahead of these two and can just kind of stay in that battle. Somehow he's worked some amazing strategy to be able to stay as far ahead as he has in this race. He's not really sort of, I don't know what he did in the pit stop, but he was able to do something absolutely incredible to be able to gain such an advantage in the pit stops. But if, you know, that could play a huge factor for him. If he can just lay down some amazing laps here, he could be able to stick with these two. And right now he was only losing about 1/10 of a second per lap, so he's really not that bad is whenever you look at it on pace-wise.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pace right now. Robert Hartley ran a 202.8, while Aeronom and Mike Dam both ran identical lap times of a 202.77. So these guys are really putting the hustle and trying to catch up to Hartley. So, and Hartley knows that he needs to start making some moves if he wants any shot at being able to take this win.
He needs to start putting in some moves early if he does want a chance at getting the win in some, you know, be able to get the win here. Losing not much time. So those two, like you said, pretty much identical times. But then Rob Hartley, they're only in 10th up. So if he can continue to put in some good times, he could find himself in a last lap battle if these two start to battle a little bit just after the pit stops.
Yeah, as they just worked around the 61 of the ST class cars, and I believe that was Mike Taylor. So they're still working through the ST field again, but it's a lot. The gap is slowly but surely dwindling as they're going around another slower car. I believe that is Michael Hilliard right now, but anything can happen still as Mike Dam's having to go a little wide there trying to keep up with Aeronom.
Mike Dam just a little bit wide. I think it was kind of thrown off by number 74. He's inside there. Just a little bit thrown off going up into the braking zone there. He was able to get that car stopped. Sold it out. As now they work their way through the bus stop chicane. We are working lap 24. We are just 48 minutes now into this race. So as we continue on throughout this race here, we're starting to see some drivers separate out a little bit more. We're also starting to see some battles kind of close up as all the way through the field. As a little bit of freak out zone there. But gets back out here. As we're looking back here at the John Allen in the ST class. As trying to get the time together. Just for a second, I'm just going to refresh the page So, yeah, I'm trying to get the time delta to be pulled up here, but we will continue now. Now we'll get back. There we go. So now we're just about 14.5 seconds. So Travis Swanky is starting to average out that gap, but you can see there, he's in a battle right now with Jim List. So that's only going to continue to cost them time, as John Allen must have had some sort of issue, because that gap has just closed down 2 seconds.
Yeah, and it almost seems as if he's just playing a patient game now, and at the same time, I kind of don't blame him. Looking at his last lap time, it was a 2:09, so still even pace with the other 3 cars fighting it out right now for second. But I don't know what to expect for Jim List, Travis Schwenk, and Violet if they're going to try to even catch up. As that gap's up to 16 seconds now.
Yeah, gap is up to 16 seconds. As I'm going to go ahead there, just at the top of your screen here, you will see the different classes. What is the fastest time? So you can just kind of see here difference in the classes. And as we look here, you kind of, in the GS class, obviously the pro guys are faster than the open guys, but this is something that's kind of interesting here in the ST Open classes. They are 5 seconds faster for some reason than the drivers in the ST Pro. I believe that we have a driver listed ST Open, so we'll go and just hide that there. For some reason, I don't know what's going on with that one, but still looking here at your leader, John Allen, and John Allen with the fastest lap of the race. So John Allen is currently in a league of his own with a 2:08.5. So he is out front and pulling away with just setting fastest lap of the race. Now we're going to focus now back here at Travis Swanky, as he is going to go and try to battle here with Jim List, as they're going to work their way up the hill now, down through one of the very steep inclines here at Watkins Glen. Now they head down the back straightaway now. He's going to get all up on the bumper here of Jim List. He's going to look over now to the left-hand side as they come up the hill. Going down into the chicane now. I believe Swanky is going to get the move done. So Swanky is going to get the move done. He is now moved up into second place. So I wonder if that will able, now that he's got some clean air, for him to be able to move up any more places. And if I can get back here to Aero Nam here, just real quick as they head down the straightaway now. I believe I will be able to get over to Aero Nam here in just a second, so just bear with me here. A little bit of technical difficulties once again, so as we head now. A little bit of technical difficulties here, just bear with me here just for one more second. I'm still locked on my scenic camera for some reason. Try to go to a different driver. Yes, just bear with me here for just one more second as I try to get everything back. There we go. Now we're back working. I don't know why it was stuck on the scenic camera. I still could see cars going through. Just kind of stuck on the scenic camera. Is now John Allen diving into the pit lane. So John Allen into the pit lane here in lap number 26, 52 minutes in. So he will be going for just about 40 minutes now, just about 37 minutes on this strategy. So I'll be interested to see. And Travis Swanky's going to dive into the pit lane as well. So Travis Swanky into the pits. See if Bobby Childs, he is not going to. At least Jim List and Eric Violet, they are going to stay out and try and continue on with their strategy, those 2 cars. Jim List for the D2D Motorsports Gold and Eric Violet for the EV Paints. Obviously very similar liveries this season, as Bobby Childs now works his way through turn 1. So he will get by Swanky and Allen quite easily there, as Allen is now going to work his way out of the pit lane. And Travis Swanky is now going to leave. So that gap right now is 4 seconds. Excuse me, I expect that gap now to extend just about where it was at 14. I don't believe that Swanky gained any time in the pit stops over John Allen. So as they work their way out of the pit stops now, try to get a battle display here for you in the bottom right. Not able to get that, so we'll try and get this working here. But But as we work our way up at now at the top of the hill, so I believe that this will be quite a bit of a gap here for Travis Swinky as he works his way down through the chicane. One of the fast chicanes here on this circuit. Definitely a very tricky chicane to get through, but all these drivers pretty much dealing with it quite good. Here we haven't seen anything so dramatic, but now Aeronam has closed down that gap and is right up on the back of Rob Hartley. So we'll go ahead and ride on board here, see if he tries a move down the inside in any one of these tight, twisty sections. One of the best sections in the entire track to get a move done and through. He's just trying to stay up behind Rob Hartley, so just seeing what kind of run he can get here. I think he's just kind of scoping out Rob Hartley, seeing what kind of area Rob is struggling in. Just trying to size him up for a nice move where he doesn't lose much time, because Mike Dam is just 3 seconds behind, so you know the second that those two start battling and he can close up that gap, you know he's going to try to. Being one of the most experienced drivers in this entire league, that's definitely something that he is able to do. Jim List worked their way out of turn 1. So she's going into a GS car, so that is going to now up the hill. Those two just staying in line. Bobby Childs now works his way out of turn 1, and then there's David Payton, Jacob Beasley, and John Allen, who's now working his way down the front straightaway. So if Jim List and Eric Violet want any sort of a chance of coming out ahead of John Allen, which I believe is pretty much impossible now, as Aero Nam is now going to dive into the pit lane for a little bit of an early box, as well as Mike Dam, so they are going to jump into the pits a little bit earlier than expected. Now, John Allen just has about a 4-second gap now to Travis Swinky, so that gap has actually come down at the top for the top spot. It's dropped just about 10 seconds, so I'll try to pull up a couple laps here, just a few lap delta, and see what we can get going there. So, yeah, he lost just about 14 seconds on one, just about 10 seconds on one lap. He was just about 14 seconds just a few laps ago. So you can see he's just lost a lot of time in the pit stop phases. I think he may have taken a little bit more tires than what Swanky did, or Swanky took less tires or something than John Allen did. Because obviously John Allen getting quite a longer stop, maybe trying to take 4 tires instead of 2 to get the better strategy going. As we look here at the class interval here for the ST Pro, as Jim List currently leads over Eric Violet, David Payton in 3rd, John Allen and Travis Swinky. That is your top 5 and only 5 running drivers, but we still have drivers yet to pit here. As we will look now, we'll get the pit stops up for you here. So yeah, just the drivers in the back there have done those 2 stops. John Allen and Travis Swinky, the only 2 drivers who have done those 2 stops they need to do to be able to get through this race. This is a minimum 2-stop race for these drivers here in the Sports Car Series. So we now work through the final corner, Travis Swinky and Rob Hartley. We'll focus back here on your race leader, current race leader, Rob Hartley.
Yeah, and keep it looking at it now with Aero Nam pit. Hartley still has not pitted. He decided to make his pit stop yet. Shiflett's 12 seconds behind, but it's gonna be very interesting to see how this ends up happening, especially with Aero Nam. Aero Nam being his usual self and can be able to pull out an unbelievable comeback, especially with being behind for 3 seconds behind Hartley at one point. So, depending on when Hartley hits, this will be a big make or break moment.
One thing that has happened here just recently, John Allen's lead has been cut down from 14 seconds to 4 seconds in the pit stop phases, as they both did jump into the pits. I believe that John Allen took 4 tires instead of 2, where Travis Swinky was trying to be able to go the entire, will be able to have the superior pace at the end, possibly, having that he only took, or that he possibly took 4 tires instead of 2. But right now, Travis Swinky's going to have to pull something out of the bag if he wants any chance at catching John Allen.
And what makes matters even more interesting is with John Allen catching up to Jacob Beasley, who still has to make his second pit stop. So that'll be interesting to see how that battle happens, because with Beasley being on a different strategy, it'll be interesting how that plays out. Boy, look at the move there by Arrow Nam, trying to get around. Oh boy, trying to get around Joe Jr. and it's not working right now. Joe Jr.'s giving a pretty hefty fight on Arrow Nam. Gonna try to get on the inside here, just not making it work. He's forcing his way through. Oh boy, just pushes Joe a little wide there, but he's coming back and fighting though. My goodness, Arrow Nam's able to pull the pass, but boy, what a pass that was though, as Hartley is now in the pits.
Yeah, so Robert Hartley dives into the pit lane as we work our way through lap number 29. We're just crossed over the 1 hour mark here for the 90-minute race here in Watkins, Glen. The season opener of the Ricmotech Sports Car Season 14, brought to you by Texas Proforma Texas Elite Graphics. So and the guys over at Ricmotech, absolutely awesome products. Be sure to check them out on ricmotech.com. And speaking of that, I think it's going to be a good time to jump over to a quick commercial break as we just cross over the 1 hour mark here from Watkins, Glen. Here to the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, back here from Watkins, Glen. Jump over there to our sponsors in the form of Texas. So thank those guys for coming on board with the series. Next time we'll get a Ricmotech commercial for you. Just looking here at Rob Hartley, who is right now currently sitting in provisional P3. So Arrow Nam right now is currently got an absolutely insanely large gap to the form of Mike Dane. So try to get that up for you here in a little paddle box at the bottom. Just figured, and there we go. So right now the gap is at 5.2 seconds. The gap has also dropped just about 2 seconds on this lap. It was 5.5 just just 2 laps ago. Arrow Nam was over Mike Dam, so Arrow Nam starting to lose a little bit of time, but that could have just been any little factor playing into that lap. So now 5.3 seconds, you can see, just losing 2 tenths over the course of 2 laps. Just a tenth of lap, even if he lost that, it would take about 2 laps to catch him. So Arrow Nam to be out in the position that he's in. We'll go ahead and just check up in on your current ST leader, Jim List, and Eric Violet still staying pretty much 1 by 1, as Bobby Childs is your current ST Open leader. It says P2 there on the side, but we do have an issue with Raymond Bader being classified in the ST Open category instead of the GS category. So just a little bit of a mistake there, but as we are looking here, your current ST Open leader, John Allen, is the first of the drivers who has pitted, so he is not too far behind Bobby Childs. Just 5 seconds separate them, so pretty close to Bobby Childs. You can see Bobby Childs just working his way out or into the penultimate corner, and John Allen working himself through the third to last corner here. So as they just kind of head out through one of the more technical sections of the track, they kind of get into one of the more fast-flowing sections of the track. So this is definitely a track that throws up pretty much everything to you. And I'm going to go ahead and let you ride on board. divisional race leader here in the ST Pro category. And in the SD category in general, David Payton, the only driver who is yet to hit just 2 seconds ahead of him in that clock zone racing car. So John Allen got about a 4-second lead over Travis Swanky. So Travis Swanky is kind of maintaining the gap now, but isn't making any sort of gains on John Allen as he is going to need to. We just have just 23 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, and looking at this gap, it's still anybody's game right now. It's about 5-second gap. It is slowly increasing, but however, though, it's still a make or break. As long as Swanky doesn't make any big mistakes, he's got a chance. Looking at the lap times, he's running a little bit pacing a little bit quicker than John Allen. So it's still a lot is up in the air. So as long as Allen doesn't make any mistakes, it's going to be up to Travis Swanky to try to close up that gap.
Difficult one for Travis Swanky to close up because it's 5.1 seconds. So even though they're still sort of maintaining the gap, it's actually now at 5.3 seconds. So Travis Swanky is currently just dropping back, and currently I just don't think he's got anything for John Allen. Unless John Allen starts making some mistakes and really starts losing time, I just don't see Travis Swanky making up the time.
Looking at it now, he's going to have a little bit of lap traffic behind him as well. I mean, a little bit quicker GS class traffic further behind him that's going to try to make their way around him. And it's going to be really interesting then, as I believe that is the 33 of Roger Gregory trying to get around him now. And he's still having a decent fight with Jennifer McDonald, or actually with Jake Johansson further back. So a lot of things ups for grabs still, and it's still anything can happen. It was a bigger fight further back, as you can see further in the background of that. We're looking now towards Jeff Jacobs trying to hang on here, having a decent fight with Jennifer McDonald, and it's right now 5/10 of a second is the gap between Jeff Jacobs and Jennifer McDonald.
Yes, you can hear McDonald just lifting off the gas quite early down in here, maybe trying to save some fuel. May just be a little bit tight on the fuel here. So I think this is definitely going to be the time that we are going to see a lot of these drivers start to go for the fuel. Start to maybe try and save a little bit of fuel, as I think Aeronam is in the pit. No, he's not. So I don't know why he was dropping down my timing screen there. Sorry about that one. So we will focus back now on that battle for 6th place in the GS class as they work their way through. So we now head down the long front straightaway. This is definitely one of the cooler corners on the racetrack. It's very hard downhill into one of the tighter corners on the racetrack, even though it's a very, very fast corner and it is kind of long. It's also almost a tighter corner in the same aspect. It's kind of a weird corner. It turns hard on itself. It really looks like a fast flowing corner, but really whenever you get down in there, the car slowed down. Currently provisional race leader in the GS class, Aeronam. So he is leading by just 6 seconds now with Rob Hartley. So the two leaders in each category, the two provisional leaders, absolutely killing.
Yeah, and it's just unbelievable performance again. And here we go again. Aeronam's going to be working on trying to get around Travis Schwenke here for the one of the quick cars here. But it'll be fun to see, because Aeronam's he's just playing patience now. He's just on cruise control as Hartley's 7 seconds, and it's just growing, absolutely growing, as Shiflett and Kevin Ford both go in the pits for the GS class, which will make Aeronam your leader again in the GS class. And Schwenke's going to have to do something here. He's going to have to try to hang on to the draft as much as possible, with Aeronam trying to do anything he can to catch John Allen.
We know that Travis Swanky is definitely one of the fastest drivers in this league. I'm honestly kind of surprised that he's not able to keep pace with John Allen. These two are pretty much I don't want to call them the elite two in the league, but they are just some of the best. I mean, they really, really are. Each one of these drivers in the league is absolutely amazing drivers. They all keep it very, very clean with each other, race with a lot of respect. But these two have been consistently the dominant two, I think we can agree, in the ST class. Since last season, and definitely through this first 2 races. I mean, these guys have pretty much led. They're pretty much your provisional race. They are provisional 1-2 right now. So these guys definitely, they race each other super, super clean, but they also have great, great pace with each other. They run well together, and they also provide us with some great racing. But this is kind of odd for me, honestly, to see that Travis Swanky is 6 seconds back, because usually him and John Allen are pretty close on pace and pretty close coming into the race.
Yeah, and seeing a big difference like that, it really is interesting to say the least. As looks like Mike Dam is in the pits again, so something's happened here. He's in the pits for the 3rd time. Oh, and it looks like he's got some left front damage as well. So that's not a good sign. And I believe he towed, actually. I'm looking at the pit time, and it's exactly the same. Oh, man, that is not a good way for Mike Dam to end his race.
Definitely not a good way to end his night here, as we'll look back now. There at your overall leaderboard. But it is Aeronom. Now, I think Aeronom is pretty much at this point then confirming that Mike Dam has had those late race issues, and that's something that you just never want to see a driver have. He has done just so well. He's been quite close to Aeronom pretty much this entire race. You know, those two have been the class of their own in the GS field. So to see him drop out of the race that late, and I believe you're right, I believe he did tow, is he's up now to he's now up to a minute 31 seconds in the pit lane, so he's definitely already gone a lap down. I believe he's already gone to the back of the field in all of it, so he has gone to the completely bottom of the timing chart. So yeah, unfortunate to see him drop out like that this late in the race, considering he had such a great race, since he had such a great potential to be able to fight in this race and try and get up and possibly be the one to take that win away from him. And he made any mistakes towards the end.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. Yes, unfortunate indeed. And with Robert Hartley just running the same lap times as Aeronom, and but Aeronom's just keeping that consistent pace, and not much you can do when you feel like you're running the quickest laps you can, and yet here's Aeronom just knocking out the same race pace as what you've got, and just it seems like the gap is still growing. It's up to 6.3 seconds, the gap over Robert Hartley.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, Robert Hartley is definitely a good driver at 9,670 I rating. So his I rating is really, really high. Yes, you can just see there how good these drivers really are. Aeronom has obviously 6,000 I rating, Rob Hartley, but 9.7 thousand I rating. But obviously, you know, I rating is something that iRacing uses to judge the skill of drivers. And while I do definitely think that is a great, great system, you can just see how good Aeronom is in these Mustangs. He is just almost untouchable right now in this race at 6.4 seconds, 6.5 seconds now. So he is just growing this gap out with 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, and it really kind of, I feel bad for Hartley. As you can see, Hartley's still in the background, but that's just got to be a good feeling, seeing him just pulling away from you no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely a bad feeling as a driver. Whenever you just know that there's a possibility that you could have fought with him, but it's just, he's just got the pace over him. It's definitely a feeling that I think that you can see Rob Hartley possibly just being like, okay, I know I'm not as fast as him. Let me just go around and put in some consistent lap times and not lose too much track position. As I am going to just try to jump back in there and fix the live time in there as well. We will jump now back to that battle. So between Jennifer McDonald and Jeff Jacobs, so just 4 tenths up from Glen, and Steve Andrews and Jake Jonas. they are also very, very close in lead as well. So those two, just 0.2 of a second separate them. I believe this is like 8th and 9th in the GS fields. We do have a couple of drivers that are in the GS field. Let's see if I can grab the overall. So there we go. Now I'm back to the way I like it. Okay, so now I can see it. Yeah, this is the battle for 8th in class. So I finally fixed the overlay issue that I've been having. So now we'll focus back on that battle with Jeff Jacobs and Jennifer McDonald. Just 4 tenths now separate them. So the gap is coming down just a little bit. Pretty much everyone's staying quite close. But the end of the GS field now starting to close up.
Yeah, looking at it, though, it is closing up. Jeff Jacobs and Jennifer McDonald, half a second is the gap, but it just looks like Jennifer's just biding her time and waiting to see where she can take her opportunities to make an overtake move, and it looks like it might be pretty soon, as right now Jeff Jacobs is having a fight with a little bit of a slower ST car, but a lot of opportunities to be had, as here goes Jennifer making got a little bit squeezed out there, but just gonna try to make it up if she can.
Definitely going to try and make that move. McDonald is going to lose some time now going onto the front straight with 0.8 of a second. Let's just focus back now on your ST field. So those two, the guys in the ST field, John Allen has pretty much got this field covered now just with 12 minutes to go. And Bobby Childs, I believe, is in some sort of a battle here with David Payton. So Childs all over the back of Payton. He is going to get the slipstream down the straightaway now. So we're right on board with him to see where he tries to make his move. If he does, no, he's going to back off of it, trying maybe to play some team orders a little bit. With David just kind of saying, all right, I'll stick behind you. Maybe let's try to close up some time to the driver's ahead, even though I believe there's 23 seconds from Payton to Violets. I don't believe they'll be changing anything now. Maybe Childs with a little bit of down on fuel for this race, but nonetheless, Bobby Childs not trying to move that inside as I thought he would be. And the list is also just 0.3 of a he's got Eric Violet just 0.4 of a second now behind him. So those two very close as they head up the hill.
Yeah, I also believe they are both teammates as well, so they're working together on trying to see if they can catch up to the other two, but it's more now of just playing it patient, just seeing what they need to do, and just secure points for themselves now, it looks like.
Just trying to secure a little bit of points for the team. I believe there is a team's championship in this. But now, pretty much everyone's kind of spread out. Steve Daniels and Jacob Jonassen, so those two are getting a little bit closer now. Just 3.5 tenths of a second separate them. So you can see Jonassen just looking for a move on Daniels as he runs just a little bit wide through there, but Daniel will get the better run off the corner. But just kind of seeing everyone really try, especially in the ST field or in the GS field right now. We're just seeing everyone kind of close up to each other in these latter part of the races, especially towards the rear end of your field there. We're not really seeing much spreading out towards the rear of the field like we're used to seeing in this field. And I believe that John Allen into the pit lane. No, I am incorrect on that one. He was just dropping on the timing screen there for some reason. I don't know quite what's going on, but nonetheless, we will focus back here to Jim List just as we jump back to the ST field. So.
Looks like Eric Pilot got around him fairly smoothly, but it's going to be interesting because they'll have a nice little battle between each other, but they'll probably keep it as clean as possible as well. As here goes Kevin Ford on the inside trying to make a decent pass around him for another lap on him, and it gets around him very.
And I am having a little bit of freezing issues here. So there we go. I will get back here with your race leader, Aeronom. So sorry for the technical difficulties there. For some reason, it's getting stuck on Scenic Camera. I think I'm having a little bit of an issue with Scenic Camera in this race. But as we head up the hill now, we we'll see just the gap now that Aerodom has, just 7 seconds. We'll also go back here to Jake Jonason as they're down 0.5 of a second separating them, so that gap is starting to close up just a little bit. Another battle, still the Gymnast and Eric Violet, those two still staying quite close to each other as they head down into turn number 1. Just received a message here from Mike Dam. He isn't currently in our waiting room, but he says that he was taken out by a back marker in corner 1 at 34. So we'll possibly try to go back and see if I can't grab a replay for you there. Just try to go back a little bit and see if I can't find a replay. I'll let Tyler, I'll let you go ahead and just run through what you're seeing here in this map.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at how this, it's just more. They're all being seen fairly clean. Right now they're kind of getting a little antsy with each other as we do have about 7 minutes to go in the race. So a lot of things still have to play for pretty much the fight for podium as well. So I have a feeling they're probably doing rock paper scissors shoes on in each of their view mirrors or whenever they're side by side. But overall really clean. But it looks like at the same time, might you have an opportunity to catch up to Swanky? It seems like that gap's closing down a little bit. I might be wrong on that, but they got a fairly decent gap to their other teammate of Bobby Childs and Jordy Fight. So it's good. It's gonna come down to just these two guys fighting for podium, and it'll be interesting to see who ends up winning pulling the short end of the stick here on who's gonna give the other third place or not.
Yeah, definitely gonna be an interesting one indeed there. As I didn't find the incident. It didn't actually show up as an incident on the iRacing live timing, so I wasn't able to get a replay for you, but unfortunate on that one as Kevin Ford is off the track for quite a long time. He has spun it down into turn number 1, so let's see if we can't get a replay for you here on that one. Let's try to go back live here. Let's see. And then let's try to, nope, still not going to work. Okay. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with the replays there. I can't quite get a replay here. So we'll just stick with it here as we'll jump back here, back to that Gymnast and Eric Violet battle. So those two, the closest on the track right now, besides possibly Jeff Jacobs and Jennifer McDonald. Those two still in that battle. So this is absolutely what we love to see. With just 6 minutes to go, we're seeing just about 4, maybe 5 battles on the track.
Yes, absolutely. And looking at it too, Jeff Jacobs is doing everything he can. He's going high, he'll go low, trying to keep that consistent run, but it just seems like Jennifer's just one-upping him right now. Looking at the lap times though, however, Jennifer McDonald did run a quicker lap than Jeff Jacobs, so probably within the next few laps, Jennifer might be trying to go for a big move on trying to take over 6th place. So a lot of things can happen still.
Yeah, definitely a lot of things can happen indeed. Here's still the battle with Jonason and Daniel. This gap is kind of extended just a little bit. Now it's back to about half a second. We'll also jump back to the Gymnast and Eric Violet battle. Those two still staying quite close to each other, and David Payton and Michael Key as well. So these are pretty much your battles on the racetrack. Just kind of giving you a brief rundown of all the battles currently. And up at the top of your screen now, you can see the fastest lap of the race for the GS class. This is not in order of Pro and Open, as we are having a little bit of an issue with that live timing. But yeah, right now the current fastest lap of the race in that class is a 2:02.2 and a 2:08.2. So we're seeing just 6 seconds. This is probably one of the fastest racetracks we'll be at all season long. So to see this gap and to see where these battles see what these time differences is. I'm going to be interested to see that over the course of the championship, how that is different track to track. If the ST cars ever end up getting to a point to where we don't see them maybe over the GS cars overtaking them till almost halfway through the race.
Definitely, and here we go. It looks like David Payton's going to try to find an opportunity here. As looks like the 419 had an issue there. I'm seeing his name dropping a little bit, but here we go. David Payton, though, looking for an opportunity. He's going to have a draft on Mike and Key. Coming to the bus stop. He's going to play it safe now. Still a very close battle with these two ST cars.
As we focus now up just a little bit more, so David Payton all over the back of Michael Key, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong with it, but David Payton was consistently up in the front last season. I wonder what's happening.
Yeah, he was up in the front, and I believe he had an issue, though, earlier in the race, which I believe there was an incident that happened with a few of the ST cars, Elvis Rankin, Chris Thorman, Derek Holland, I believe, maybe even Clifford Evan, all getting involved in some early on incidents, and I think that was what really hurt David Payton there in that long run.
Yeah, definitely something that possibly could have hurt him there in the long run. We continue to focus in on this battle. It's definitely a pretty good battle for us here, as definitely one of the closer battles on the racetrack. Looks to me like David Payton possibly got held up.
It looks like it is. Just did not have the luck from Steve Daniels coming around and looking back towards Jim List and Eric Violet. So we should be coming to white flag, I believe, depending on where Aeronam is at. So gonna be an interesting battle here to see how this plays.
I believe they will get white flag next time by as Aeronam works his way through.
Yeah, that's definitely be next time. Yep, so we'll have one more lap to go. As right now at a minute and 29 laps. So one more lap this time by for Aeronam as he's catching up to other fields, but he's got a 9-second gap over Robert Hartley. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely a nice big gap for him here. 9 seconds, like you were saying. Just absolutely controlling the race from the front. It's definitely the easiest way to run the race, and he's definitely doing that. As John Allen now is going to work his way through. He will take the white flag next time by. Travis Swinky as well. He is just about 5.7 seconds. He's actually maintained the gap through these last few laps. And then we look at the battle between Jim List and Eric Violet as they go through now. So he will work his way through there.
Microphone muted.
And so as they head up now, so they do work their way now through the
disconnected.
Sorry, just trying to get disconnected with the team spot. Here, just working their way now through the final sector. Jennifer McDonald and Jeff Jacobs. That battle is also starting to close down. No, it's not. So it just opened back up.
Open back up again. Looked like Jennifer McDonald trying to make an overtake move and might have not have really worked out for her there. Eric Violet now is trying to find an opportunity to catch up to Jim List as they're on their white flag lap now, and heading up to the S's, and it's going to be interesting to see if Violet can be able to get any kind of momentum here.
Definitely be an interesting one to see if Eric Violet's going to make a move. This is for the final spot on the podium as he heads up the hill now. He is going to get a nice run on him. He is going to just stick behind him. I think he's just going to try and just stick behind him, possibly try to make a move on him in the final sector, and not have the issue, and not have the try to get by him as big slide, and he's going to lose a lot of time.
I think that'll do it. And Aeronam coming in, getting ready to cross the finish line now, I believe. And Arrow Nam once again starts off the season strong, winning at Watkins Glen for round number 1 of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series for the GS class. Robert Hartley comes in second place. Tyler Shiflett still on his way, still trying to finish. He's right now coming through to heading towards the final corner now, and he'll hang on to third place, and that'll round out your podium for the GS class. Meanwhile, John Allen is just making it around, coming out of the boot now. So he's got two more turns to go, and he'll secure his win for the ST class.
Yeah, so you can see a couple of the SD cars have already finished. They were overlapped again as they do work their way down through the final corner. John Allen and then Defined Auto Works. Mazda here will take the win in the ST class. Travis Swanky, I believe, will come home in second. And Jim List still working his way down through the final corner. He will come home third, ahead of Eric Violet. So those two, awesome job by those two to hang on to fourth place. Amazing job by Eric Violet to hang on with that, even with that big slide. Now we look here with Bobby Childs and Jacob Beasley. So Beasley quite a bit behind him, but we will now see Bobby Childs work his way through to secure a fifth place, and what I believe will also be a win in the ST Open class for round number 1 here. We're having a little bit of issues with the overlay, so do not excuse Raymond Bader is basically what I'm trying to say, as he is a GS car, not an ST car. So, but that is your podium in each one of the classes. But just amazing job by all of these drivers to come home and get such good results here in the last round of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. And great way to start the championship for Arrow Nam, Rob Hartley, and Tyler Shiflett. That is your top 3 in the ST class.
Now waiting on the grid, the final results to pop up on your screen. And with that, Arrow Nam pulling out a victory. Just another unbelievable race for Arrow Nam. Winning a race again, winning the inaugural season 14 for Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Robert Hartley finishes in second, 9.8 seconds behind Arrow Nam. Tyler Shiflett finishes in third. Joe Jr. able to come back after struggling at the start to try to make an opportunity to make any momentum and have a fight with the top 3. Able to come back and finish in fourth. Kevin Ford rounds out your top 5. Then it's Jeff Jacobs, Jennifer McDonald, Jake Johansson in 8th, Steve Daniels and Raymond Bader Jr. in 10th. Then further down the list is Leon Wright, Chad Parker as rounding out your lead lap cars in the GS field. Then you got Matthew Kalita in 13th, Robert Briss, Michael Hilliard in 15th, Roger Gregory in 16th, and then we had Mike Dam unfortunately having the issues there, getting caught up in a mistake and caught in a wreck. Brandon Whitworth further down the field, David Clark as well, and Will Marshall rounding out your GS field.
And now as we look over at the ST results, I'll try to get some ST only results. Oh, there we go. This makes my life a lot easier. All right, so John Allen wins here in the inaugural race here for the ST cars. Travis Swanky comes home in second. Jim List third. Eric Violet fourth. Bobby Childs in fifth. Jacob Beasley in sixth. Greg Mack in seventh. Linda McMurphy in eighth. I do believe that was... no, that's actually not correct, sorry. Jordy Fike in 9th, Michael Wartman in 10th, Mike Taylor in 11th, David Payton in 12th, Michael Key in 13th, Clifford Eben in 14th, Derek Holland 15th, Chris Thorman 16th, Elvis Rankin in 17th, Edgar Santinelli in 18th, and 19th, just as usual, is your race marshal, but I do believe that we have some drivers over in our waiting room here, so I will let you go ahead if you want to. Go ahead and pull Arrow Nam in here.
Sure thing. Well, once again, another unbelievable race. Just amazing performance again, Arrow. Just being able to have a decent fight there with Mike Dam and Robert Hartley, and then just the pit strategy again paying off for it.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be a really hard race because in the beginning I wasn't able to get away, so it was very, very tough in the beginning. So yeah, the pit stage, the first pit didn't go as planned. Mike pitted a lap later, so he had more fuel, so I had to work really hard to get cap to him.
Absolutely, and we were noticing that at first we were worried, seeing if that was if that was going to hurt you at all. Whereas, was it any way you were ended up having to work with Mike Dam trying to catch up to Hartley after that stop? With I believe it was Hartley being the first one to make a move out of top three.
I wasn't really worried about the gap was 4 seconds, and he pitted 4 laps earlier, so I knew his pit stop will be longer than mine, so I just took my time, saved tires and saved fuel.
I have to admit, I mean, unbelievable race again for you. Starting out just like how you did at the end of last season with the win, starting out this season with the win. Definitely have any shout outs for anyone?
I think I have to say to the drivers, it wasn't a really nice race in the traffic, so they better clean up for the next race. But yeah, like always, I like to thank the league organizers, all the admins, and you guys there.
Congratulations again, Arrow, on winning the GS class again in just unbelievable fashion. And this just like how your strategy is with just being patient and was able to pull out the win. Congratulations again on the win.
Thanks, guys.
So now we'll go ahead and get John Allen up here. So John, amazing race for you here in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Obviously, round number 1, able to come out with the win. How was the race from your perspective?
It was pretty dicey early, and that was a big pack of cars. We know it's a draft track, but when 5 laps in, it's still 15 cars or whatever it was, over a dozen cars. I kind of picked and chose when the person behind me seemed a little bit, chomping at the bit. I just kind of gave the spot, picked a spot that seemed less dramatic, and with a draft track, usually you're weighing fuel savings and time, and ideally you can save both. But I was saving fuel, but I definitely wasn't saving time, and I just felt like I had an ability to put some laps in and clean air, so I pitted as soon as I possibly could and just hoped for no yellows.
Yeah, well, your strategy definitely worked out very, very well for you. You were able to come out with a large gap at the beginning of the race, and you were able to kind of maintain that through the race. And one thing we did see was that you lost 10 seconds in the pit stop between, I believe it was the second pit stop between you and Swinky. He was able to close up a lot of time. Can you kind of give us an idea of what happened there?
Well, yeah, by taking that early pit, I had, I only had so much room in the tank, so I filled it to the brim on both pits, but I pitted so early the first time, and that was only, not even 2 gallons of fuel. So I had from there to run it to fumes and to fumes again. So on that final stop, I know I had, a lot more fuel to take than him. But, I was just hoping that my ability to navigate traffic by myself instead of a car in a pack would build the difference between the pit stops, and it worked.
Yeah, well, it definitely worked out really, really well for you. Congratulations on the win. Is there anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, this start of a new season, pretty exciting. The last 2 or 3 have been kind of false starts. I've had some issues in the early races and had to charge from the rear, so it's good to get a win early. So I thanks for everybody involved in supporting me and those watching. Always happy to have the crowd looking in, and another season's upon us.
Well, congratulations on the win. Good luck for the rest of the season. Hope to see you back here next week.
Thanks, guys.
Travis Swinky now in the booth. So, Travis, Another pretty good result for you. Obviously, you would like to be one step higher on the podium, I'm sure, but second place is nothing to be ashamed of here in the first round, and especially it being the first round of a long championship. You had some pretty good pace in the race, but John was just a little bit faster. How was the race?
Yeah. John won it with that nice early pit stop. That's what got it for him. So it was hard for me to be in draft and run with the other guys and still watch his times. Every time I'd look, I knew we were within a tenth or so of each other, but it still gave him that opportunity. I think we were running slower some other times when we tried to pass and stuff, and he was running clean laps, and I had to cut it close on the fuel then at the end. I was burping at the line, and he actually took enough fuel for even another lap, I think. So it was a great race by John and great strategy.
Yeah, definitely. Some interesting strategies always in this series. I think you kind of took the more conventional strategy, not the super ambitious strategy, and I kind of think that caused you the win. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think this
Yeah,
time you kind of took a little bit
yeah,
more
it
of a
definitely
conservative
did.
route.
If you're not working together with the people, right? So if they were the third car back, the pass would happen. If I was the third car back, they'd fight me into the bus stop, and that would cost us lap time every time we did that. So I was trying to only take the times I had a good shot, but still it was a fight, and that hurt us lap time wise for sure.
Yeah, definitely hurt you a little bit lap time wise, but nothing to be ashamed of. Obviously, second place at the start of the championship is definitely a good result, as there's such a long way to go in this championship, and nothing can be decided this early on. But is there anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, just thank the series again, and you guys for putting on a great show and commentating these races for us, and appreciate everything.
Obviously, awesome job by you again, Travis. Thank you for coming to us. We hope to see you back here again the next race in just a couple of weeks' time.
Sure will. Thank you much.
Travis Swinky now, so that is the end of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series here from Watkins Glen International. As just looking now at the schedule here for this series, next week, or the next time we go, it will be on the 21st. We will be at Snurton International Circuit on the 300 circuit at the same time here, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Will be live just about 8:15 and about 1:15 a.m. GMT. But another great race, Tyler. Let's get your final thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of impressed with it. I'm gonna be real curious to see how this plays out. I'm especially at Tsukuba, one of my favorite tracks in general as well, especially for the Mazda. So get ready for some very intense, action-packed racing, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, definitely going to be another great race, as we always do see here in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. But from all of us here at Apex Racing TV, this has been the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. And until next time, we'll see you later.